And good Buckeye afternoon to you all. Welcome to the Buckeyes postgame show. Kenny Roda with you after another Ohio State victory as they take care in rather easy fashion of the Maryland Terrapins. The final score after that pick six late in the game, 66-17. The Buckeyes racking up the yards, the points, the wins, and that's a good thing. What was it, about 3-4 weeks ago? We were wondering about this Buckeyes team after that loss at home to Oregon. How would they rebound? What would Ryan Day do with the upperclassmen that maybe weren't getting the job done? Would he play some of the younger guys? Would they start winning football games? Would they get back in the playoff race once again? And the answers to those questions are yes, 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 and yes. The Buckeyes have done a nice job of shuffling the defensive room, if you will, with Kerry Combs going up to the booth and Matt Barnes down on the field as the defensive coordinator calling plays, getting rid of or having players transfer out on the defensive side of the ball that were upperclassmen that weren't getting the job done, thought they should play more, but the younger guys were taking their playing time, and deservedly so, and the defense is starting to transform. Still a long way to go, but they've improved defensively with a lot of those young guys, freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or sophomores stepping in and playing solid on defense. And then the offense just continues to roll and roll and roll. What a smart move by Ryan Day and the Buckeyes to take care of C.J. Stroud a couple of weeks ago against Akron. It was basically a scrimmage. Let him rest the shoulder. Let him rest his mind. Let him get back on track. And since then, 10 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, I think, in the last 2 weeks. Now, granted, it was Rutgers. It was Maryland today, but still, they did to those teams what they should do to those teams. They destroyed them 52-13 last week, 66-17. You do the math, 118-30. I did it for you. How's that Baldwin Wallace education for you? So the Buckeyes doing what they should do to bad teams. They'll have a bye week next week. In fact, let's throw everything up there on the bottom of the screen so you can see the final score from today, what their overall record is, what their Big Ten record is. They're off next week with a bye week, and then they're on the road Saturday, October 23rd at Indiana. That game should be another blowout, but we don't know the status of Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback from Indiana. He got hurt, I think, last week. Don't know if he'll be back for that one or not. He had a big game against them last year, but Indiana seemed to be, I don't want to say the darlings of the Big Ten before the season started this year as a team to watch out for. They have not lived up to the expectations. And so with that in mind, an extra week to prepare for them, and you're the better football team, the Buckeyes should go in there and roll Indiana in 2 weeks from today. But let's talk about what happened today. You see the score, 66-17. Let's throw some numbers up there for you on the bottom of the screen. C.J. Stroud, over 400 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Outstanding performance today, making the right reads, making the right throws, making good throws. I counted only 2 bad passes today from C.J. Stroud. One was behind the receiver, and the other he missed Olave on a wide open touchdown on a post route, but that's okay. They came back and still scored. In fact, what was it? The first 7 offensive possessions that they didn't take a knee on, I think they scored on the first 7. It might have been 8. So they did what they're supposed to do to a team like this. They just buried Maryland, and Tagovailoa, however you say his last name, I apologize, but they didn't give him any hope early on. They pressured him, and yes, they had that nice opening drive. Maryland took it all the way down inside the red zone, but the Buckeyes defense stiffened and forced a field goal. And that's big. That's big for the defense and their confidence. And it's big for Maryland in a negative standpoint because they didn't go down and score a touchdown. They score a touchdown, they're feeling better about themselves. They only got a field goal out of it. And then the Buckeyes rolled from there. And so I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Buckeyes defense. I'm liking the fact that the young players now are getting more comfortable in their roles. Eichenberg at linebacker, Denzel Burke at corner, Cameron Martinez at corner, TJ Tuimoloau with a nice play today. I think it was either a tackle for a loss or a sack. Jack Sawyer with a sack or a tackle for loss, depending on how they ruled that. So those guys are starting to gain experience, confidence, and now they're starting to react instead of thinking on defense. And that's huge. The moment you think on defense, you're beat, especially if you're a cornerback. If you're in the secondary and you think for a split second, gone. They're right by you. So I like what I'm seeing, and I like the way Matt Barnes is calling the game. They're getting pressure up front from the four guys on the defensive line, but he's also mixing in some blitzes here and there from the linebackers, the corners, whatever. And so that's giving the quarterback a different look, whereas the first few games, whatever the hell Kerry Combs was doing, I don't know. The quarterback knew exactly what was coming as far as the man-to-man defense, and they picked it apart. So defensively, are they elite? No. And granted, they're not going to be elite because it's only a few games with this unit as far as the players and the guy calling the defensive plays. But the progress is being made, the confidence is growing, and maybe by the time they get to the Penn State game, they get to the Michigan State game and the Michigan game, this defense could be coming more complete and closer to elite than it is right now. They're still susceptible, as we saw in that opening drive, of getting beat, giving up the big play. Tagovailoa had a wide open receiver down the sideline, missed him. Instead of 3-0 there, Maryland, it's 7-0 there if he connects on that touchdown pass. So they still have a ways to go, but you feel better, don't you, as a Buckeye fan, about the defense and what it's done. I know Akron, Rutgers, and Maryland, not three of the best teams in the country, three of the worst teams, Akron overall, and two of the worst teams this year in the Big Ten. So Indiana will be a better test. And then as they get into the meat portion of their schedule after that, bigger tests for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Having said that about the defense, let's talk about this offense and their ability to drive the ball down the field as they, what was it? Hold on. Let me get my phone here. I want to see what the play situation was there on their opening drive. Buckeyes defense, hold it. Okay, 17 plays, 88 yards, 6 minutes and 10 seconds to take the lead 7-3 in the first quarter. So they showed you that if you're going to take away the big play, if you're going to take away the deep throws, if all you're giving is the underneath stuff, they'll take it. 17 plays. I think on the telecast, they said that's one of the longest drives as far as amount of plays by the Buckeyes in 15, 20 years, whatever it was. So they showed you they can do that. So if you want to, have that umbrella defense and give up everything underneath, the Buckeyes will take it and they can score. Then they showed you boom, 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 big play capabilities. Olave over the top. Travion Henderson, my goodness, look at his numbers tonight. 102 yards rushing, 2 TDs, 4 catches, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Think about that. That's a true freshman running back doing that at the Ohio State. That's how good he is. And then you mix in Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Smith and Jigba, Emeka Ibuka, all these guys, the tight ends, Russell. I mean, this is a well-rounded, well-balanced offense. And all C.J. Stroud has to do is get the ball to the playmakers, be the distributor. He threw for 406 today, 5 touchdowns. Okay? 10 in the last 2 weeks. Just get the ball to the guys. They'll do the rest. They're getting open. The first touchdown on that 17-play drive to Garrett Wilson, it was 4th and goal, I think, from the 2. The move off the line of scrimmage to get open, there are NFL scouts salivating at that simple play right there. 4th and 2, Buckeyes are going for it. You're getting jammed at the line of scrimmage, and dude made the defensive back miss, swing and miss, and he breaks free, little juke inside to the outside, over the top, touchdown, 7-3 Buckeyes, and they roll. Phenomenal. Chris Olave, don't get me wrong, Chris Olave, 3rd all-time touchdown receptions at the Ohio State? How can you not love that? But if I'm an NFL scout and I'm looking at those two and I have to pick between Olave and Wilson, you can't go wrong either way, right? You flip the coin, the old Romeo Crennel. I love that pizza. You flip that coin, can't go wrong. But for me, Garrett Wilson, a little more physical, a little more shake and bake there. I would take Wilson, but happy to have both of them as Buckeyes wide receivers, and so is C.J. Stroud. Loving what he has at his disposal. I mean, one wide receiver goes down, you bring in another one. It's another 5-star wide receiver. It's another number 1 wide receiver overall. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. can't even get on the field. He's one of the top receivers in the country this year. This team offensively, the offensive line, they struggled a little bit early with the run blocking, but you got to feel out your defense. I always go back to the national championship game in it was in 2015, but it was for the 2014 season, first year of the college football playoff, right? Marcus Mariota and Oregon went right down the field after the opening kickoff and took a 7-0 lead. And you're thinking, oh, crap, no. You can practice against it, but until you actually face it in game speed with somebody that's not your own teammate running it, you don't really have a feel for it. And after that, the Buckeyes were able to adjust against Mariota and Oregon, go on and win that game. What was it? 42-20. Today, they go down the field, almost get a touchdown, should have had a touchdown. They didn't. They get the field goal. Buckeyes make some adjustments, get a feel for what they're trying to do, and the defense played much better after that opening series. Same with the offense, the linemen. All right. They're stunting, they're moving, whatever it is that they're doing. They're bringing in extra guys in the box. Didn't run it well early on, but they didn't give up on the run. And like I said, Trevion Henderson still had over 100 yards rushing today. So they stuck with it and eventually wore them down with that huge offensive line. So this is, again, not a great win for the Buckeyes. They were supposed to win. They were 21-point favorites. But it's a good win because they did what they were supposed to do. They got better in areas. Ibuka with the kickoff. There's a threat now on kickoff returns and punt returns with Ibuka and Garrett Wilson. Something else opponents have to worry about now. Do we punt the ball, to Garrett Wilson, or do we punt it out of bounds? And, you get them thinking. Do we just kick it into the end zone so the Buckeyes get it at the 25, or do we, kick it and take our chances on Ibuka with the return? So they're well-rounded when it comes to offensive weapons, offensive threats. They just as good as any team in the country offensively right now, the way they're playing. And again, Akron, Rutgers, Maryland, I understand. So let's see next week against Indiana. In fact, let's look at the Buckeyes' upcoming schedule after Indiana, because that's when it really gets tough. You go at Indiana on October 23rd. Then on Halloween weekend, my goodness, what a game this will be. And it says TBD, to be determined. Can't imagine they're not going to make the Ohio State-Penn State game in Columbus, a night game. It's got to be, 7:30, 8 o'clock kickoff in Columbus for that game. Huge game there. Then you're at Nebraska. Nebraska's a better team this year. Not great, not even really good, but a better team. Still, it's a game after Penn State, depending on what happens there. Maybe you have a letdown. You go on the road. And a Purdue or an Iowa can happen, right? So that's a tougher game there. Then you've got Purdue at home. You've got Michigan State at home after that, and you're on the road at Michigan to close it out. So the schedule's going to get a lot tougher. The opponents are going to be more athletic. They're going to be better, and the Buckeyes will have to play better in all phases of the game if they want to continue to get back in the hunt for the national championship race. And what I want to do right now is I want to check some scores real quick, and then we'll check some comments from you all on Twitter, on Facebook, and everything along those lines. Let's see, Oklahoma, holy cow. They've been down the entire game. Oklahoma has come back to take the lead as we're talking right now on Texas. And that score is 48-41. Oklahoma with the lead, outscoring Texas 28-3 so far in the second half, and there's a minute and a half left in that game. Spencer Rattler benched, and Caleb Williams has come in at quarterback to lead the resurgence there for the Oklahoma Sooners. And the reason I keep an eye on that, the Buckeyes are number 7 in the college football playoff rankings, if you will, or let me rephrase that, the AP rankings. Oklahoma number 6, and you need the Big 12 team, in my opinion, to lose to better your chances of getting back in the playoff race if you're the Ohio State Buckeyes. Not that they can't. I'm just saying it with Oregon losing in the Pac-12, it would be nice if Oklahoma were to lose, and they were down, 38-20 at halftime, and now they lead 48-41. So something to keep an eye on there as the Buckeyes, with that loss early to Oregon, may need some help to get there. We'll have to wait and see, especially if Georgia were to beat Alabama. 2 teams from the SEC are going. Only 2 spots are open then. And Cincinnati's going to make a case as the non-power 5 if they go undefeated. Oklahoma would make a case if they go undefeated. The Buckeyes would have their case if they were able to roll through and win the Big Ten championship. So those are things that you just have to keep an eye on. And, let me throw this up here. Our good buddy Adam Cerny, watching us here on the Buckeyes postgame show, said Texas just tied the game. So 48-all, according to Adam, if indeed the Longhorns have come through and knotted that one up. But how much time did they leave on the clock? 1:23 they left on the clock. So all Oklahoma needs is a field goal to win it in regulation. So we'll keep you posted on that. Adam, thanks for the update. Appreciate that. But getting back to the Buckeyes, and we'll check some of the comments here that you're sending in via Facebook and Twitter, and we appreciate that very, very much. I want to get your thoughts on what the Buckeyes, if you're looking at them, is it just defense? Is that the only concern you have about the Ohio State Buckeyes? Brad Hajostik says, let's see here. I called it 56-13 Buckeyes, missed it by a bit. Another one here from David Richardson. It looks like CJ Stroud is getting a little more confident each week. Do you think that's accurate to say? David Richardson, yes, I do. I think it's very accurate to say more confident. Did you see any high and wide throws? So I think he's more confident up here, and the shoulder is feeling better too. That week off did wonders. He missed some throws today, but they weren't as bad as they were in the first couple of weeks. They weren't high and wide and sailing out of bounds unless he meant to throw it out of bounds. Brad Hajostik says, yeah, he is getting confident. Oh, let me turn that one off there. My bad. There we go. I'm getting some feedback there. My bad. I don't know if you heard that or not, or just in my headphones. Brad Hajostik said, yeah, he's getting more confident, but he should with all the weapons he has. If this team had the defenses we are used to, we'd be right in the hunt for the national title. Defense, still a work in progress. So I didn't think a couple of weeks ago, I said this team has no chance of winning the national championship and beating Alabama. Do I still think that? Yes. But I'm not as confident in that prediction, I guess, I made a couple of weeks ago that they have no chance. Now maybe, okay. Well, if Alabama has an off day offensively, right, and you're racking up 590 yards and 40 points, they're the number 1 offense in the country, maybe. So that before I was like 99% sure, no chance of winning the title this year. Okay, maybe that 99% now down to 91%. Okay, and that's good. That means they're getting better defensively. But I need to see the defense do this, not against Akron, Rutgers, and Maryland. I need to see it a road game at Indiana if Penix plays, right? I need to see it Penn State at home for sure. I need to see it at Nebraska, another road game, a tougher situation. Who knows what the weather will be like there, right? I need to see it Michigan State and, of course, at Michigan. But I feel better about the defense than I did a couple of weeks ago, and that's the combination of Matt Barnes going to the sidelines, calling the plays as the D coordinator, and Kerry Combs going up to the box and maybe just working with the defensive backs. David Richardson, another message here. I would say number 1 concern is still the defense. I want to see if they'll be able to go head-to-head with Penn State, Michigan State, and I agree. And we'll see if, they're able to do that. And they've got some time to heal some guys. And that was the only bad thing today, right? When you think about it, Haskell Garrett getting injured. He left limping. Well, not limping. He actually left getting helped off the field today with a right leg injury. And when I was looking online on Twitter somewhere, who posted something? 11 Warriors posted this about Haskell Garrett's injury. Appearing to hyperextend his left knee on a Maryland drive midway through the third quarter. Stayed down on the play before heading to the medical tent on the sideline. Garrett returned to the sideline shortly thereafter, but does not appear likely to return to action. Two other key players had already left the game earlier in the contest. Offensive lineman Thayer Munford and Cameron Brown, both taking trips to the medical tent in the first half. Cameron Brown took a knee to the helmet. I've never been kneed to the head or kneed to the helmet like that, but what's that say? Concussion, right? So hopefully it's not. Hopefully he just got a little ding, but safety first. He didn't return. He gets the extra week to recover if indeed it is a concussion or not, even just to clear his head. Thayer Munford did return, I guess, later, so nothing serious. So the big one there is Haskell Garrett. What is the nature of that injury to his right leg, knee, ankle, whatever it is? If it's a hyperextension, then it's the knee. And how severe is that? Again, he gets the extra week off, right, with the bye week. And then Maryland, maybe you want to, give him that day off not Maryland, excuse me. Indiana, you want to give him that day off to get him right for Penn State. Maybe we'll have to wait and see when Ryan Day speaks and gives the 411 on the severity of that injury. So though that was the worst thing I think that happened today for the Buckeyes is the injury there to Haskell Garrett going down, because he had been playing very well in that middle of that defensive line, moving him around a little bit, and they were doing a nice job, maybe not of getting sacks like they did, in previous games, but at least pressure on the quarterback, forcing Tagovailoa to throw the ball before he wanted to. So again, you don't want to get too excited because of who it is, and we'll put the final score up on the board again here. 66-17 over Maryland. But you're 5-1 now. You're 3-0. You're a top 10 team, and you've got the most important half of your season left to go, right? 12 regular season games? I think it's 12. Or do they have 13 this year? I have to look. I think it's 12. So if you're 5-1 and you're undefeated in the Big Ten East, 3-0, the goal there is to win the rest of your games and get to play in the Big Ten championship game, which more than likely will be against Iowa. And that's a doozy that'll be happening. I'm going to go watch it as soon as we're done here. Iowa and Penn State tonight to see who's for real out of those two. So take care of your own business. Yeah, you can scoreboard watch a little bit. We'll do that as members of the media or as Buckeye fans, right? But go 1-0 each week the rest of the way. And then see where you are if you're able to go all the way through the season, go 1-0 for the next 6 or 7 weeks, win the Big Ten championship, and see where you are. I think this team is too young and still too inexperienced to look past Indiana at all. That's all that matters now. 2 weeks, use the time off to get healthy for some of the dinged up guys and the more seriously injured guys, but focus on Indiana and don't take them lightly on the road. You can't afford a misstep. You just can't, or your season is done for the national championship. Might still be able to win a Big Ten championship, but you lose one more game, then you don't have a chance to win the national championship. So that's just the way I look at it from this point forward for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Let's throw another one up here. Adam Cerny. Thank you, Adam, updating us. Oklahoma just scored a touchdown. So Oklahoma back out in front on that one. So, yeah, you were hopeful that maybe Texas could, get the job done and help you out just a little bit in, knocking off Oklahoma, especially when they're up 18 at halftime. But doesn't look like it's going to be that way. As we check the scores, 54-48, OU going to come back and beat Texas in the Red River Shootout. So, hey, kudos to them. That's a good win. That'll sit well with the pollsters in one way, and that would be that here was a team that was facing adversity, and they were able to come back and win. But some of the pollsters will say maybe Hey, they're barely winning their games. Now, granted, they're still undefeated. What are they now? 5 of 6-0? They're undefeated, but barely in a number of their games. So we'll see if that factors in their votes. I don't know the difference between Ohio State and Oklahoma in the polls. I didn't look at that, but we'll see what it is this week and next week, and see if there's a shrinkage in votes for Oklahoma, or they just reward them for winning the football game. All right, that's going to do it for this post game. The Buckeyes a big winner today, as they should have been, over Maryland by the final score of 66-17, 598 yards of total offense for the Buckeyes, 166 running, 432 passing. C.J. Stroud with 5 touchdown passes, a heck of an all-around effort by Travion Henderson, as we show you at the bottom of the screen one final time, 102 yards rushing, 67 in the air, 3 touchdowns. Olave, outstanding. Garrett Wilson, spectacular. And the Buckeyes improve and are getting better. That's the good news there for Ohio State fans and for the Buckeyes football program. All right, we will do some sort of post-game show tomorrow after the Browns game. It'll either be a riding with the Roadman as I come back from my Browns backers gig at Jersey's in Canton, or we'll do another one of these. And then, of course, on Monday from 3 to 7, well, actually, Monday it'll be 3 to 6. The Kenny and JT Show, News Talk 1480 WHBC. We'll talk all about the Buckeyes, the Browns, high school football there. 1480 AM on your radio dial, WHBC.com on the internet. Go to all your radio apps or whatever. You can pull us up and listen on your phone to the Kenny and JT Show, Monday 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 p.m. All right, folks, have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. See you. Bye.